Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It is me, Kay. I am here today to bring y'all The Shot, Season 8, Episode 1. Hard to believe, y'all, but it is the final season of The Shot, guys. And I just can't believe it. Sorry, y'all. I thought I had some chapstick over here. I just can't believe it, y'all. The Coldest Winter was the name of the episode. Now, I wanted to watch the episode last night at midnight, but I found out that it ain't dropped till 3. So I was like, yeah. I said initially I couldn't stay up till 3, but then come to find out I got to bed at 3:30. I ain't get up to watch the episode though, but I'm just like, dang. Episode coming out at 3, crazy, ain't it? But y'all, that was a net. That was a strong first episode. I just can't. I'm sorry. I'm still reeling off of what I just watched because I'm fresh off the watch. Okay, y'all. So, episode 1, season 8, The Coldest Winter, starts off with Coolio Gangsta's Paradise playing, and it's the details for me. The song choice, the tone, the writing, like, Shy, it was one time when Shy got a little shaky, but, they chewing. Like, they eating for real. But, y'all, it has been a time jump. It's been a smidge of a time jump. It's been a couple months. Like, and for the way season 7 ended, I expected them to pick up right where they left because I'm just like, there's no other way. But now I feel like even though like time has moved forward, I still feel like I have so many questions. Like, are they gonna go back and fill in the blanks for me as the season goes on? Because with episode 1, that means we only got 9 episodes to go. They ain't gonna be able to touch on everything. Like, y'all, there was this creator on TikTok who said, she said that she had got the first 3 episodes of The Shy from Showtime. And so she was just like, y'all, she told us the first 3 episodes are good, but she told us specifically that somebody got Amazon Prime to the Lord in the first episode. And that had me shook because I've been thinking about that thing for like the last 3 days until I watched the episode this morning, of course. Who could it have been? So I done told my husband about it. I'm sitting there guessing. Child, I done guessed it was Candace. It was not Candace. Ain't that her name? Reg, whoever that girl is, that Reg is dating. I thought it was her. It was not her. So I'm sitting here guessing, like, who could it be? Who could it be? Y'all, it was Pastor Zeke. So many questions. So many questions. Because I'm just like, we didn't even get to see what happened to Pastor Zeke. They did Pastor Zeke kind of like how they did Brandon way in the beginning of the show. We find out months later when the new season started that the person died. Like, and it's crazy because last time we seen Pastor Zeke, he had just gotten back with his ex-wife. They had decided to reconcile. They decided they didn't want to be a family again. They had started talking out their issues, whatever. And then, he wasn't on the best terms with Kenya. He was in a new place trying to do things right. He, lost his mega church, but he had bought Papa Daddy Church, Pastor Stanley Jackson. So now it's like, okay, where we going? Next thing you know, we had the funeral. So everybody, not everybody's there, but Charles is doing the eulogy, or he's giving words. And I'm just sitting here like, Charles and Zeke won't even in no good place for real. Why is Charles up there giving words? I don't even trust Charles for real. Charles, why are you here? You know what I mean? But the other lady who Pastor Zeke was dating, or whatever they had going on before he got back with his wife, was in that boohoo crying. I'm like, girl, why are you here crying? Y'all wasn't even together. Girl. And of course, you know, his wife is sitting there and she kept a straight face, you know what I mean? And so after the funeral, Papa basically asked her, like, why you don't seem toe up about this? And I guess by the way Zeke died, I guess she didn't want to show too emotion, because she trying to, I guess, lay low and keep it cool, because she don't know what's going on. And she didn't know that Pastor Zeke was even involved. But she tells Papa that Nuck did it. Excuse me, Nuck? So you just, Nuck, you starting off wrong, gang. You got to go. Like, you starting off wrong. You got 2 preachers under your belt. Ain't nothing good coming to you, Nuck. Ain't nothing good coming to you. Nothing good is coming to you. You got 2 preachers. People just be, y'all ain't scared of the Lord's wrath. Lord, have mercy. Then, come to find out, you know, it's been a couple months. Emmett got a whole house full of people. I saw that on the sneak peek. Emmett got a whole house full of people. Darnell, his daddy, ain't went home since. He is now dating the lady we saw at grief counseling last year, which I thought that they would start dating, but I didn't think it was going to be this fast, because this has been 3 months. Like, I probably would have been by myself. I'm not even going to lie. Especially going through that kind of a journey with a person. And then they pass. Like, you got to grieve the journey. The whole cancer diagnosis, her transition. Then you got to grieve her actually not being there. That's a lie. I probably would have been by myself. For real. Emmett is just frustrated because he feel like he ain't got no space. It's a lot going on. His mama just died. His house is full. He got a new baby. You know, it's a huge adjustment. And then come to find out a little bit later in the episode, I forget baby mama 2 name, but she come and drop Devontae off. Because, you know, remember last season they supposed to have moved to Pittsburgh or Philadelphia or somewhere. And she done drove back and dropped Devontae off and was just like, Devontae is keep getting in fights. You know, he's just misbehaving. I don't know what to do. She was like, he done stole money out my purse. You know, and, you know, Emmett is just, you know, listening to her vent about the news. I mean, not the news, but, you know, telling them the updates on their son. And so when she went to drop Devontae off, Emma was just like, well, why you can't handle it? And she was just like, he needs his dad. And, you know, like that's around that same window of time when Emma started, like, you know, doing the most. And so it's kind of just like a full circle moment, just to show like how patterns through parents and their children kind of transfer, you know what I mean? Because then, you know, Emmett's dealing with Devontae, and Devontae's acting out. He tells Devontae he's got to go to a new school. You know, Devontae don't want to. You know, Emmett is asking him, but he's asking him in a stern, like, daddy voice. You know what I mean? Like, you gonna do what I say, do like that. And I feel like all that is cool sometimes, but sometimes I feel like kids just need to be talked to sometimes. Like, sometimes you just need to sit down and just, like, bury your soul with a kid and just have a talk for real. And sometimes I feel like they understand that better. But, you know, later on in the episode, when Darnell tells Emmett that, you know, him and Riley need some space because Emmett's trying to, you know, relax. And Darnell is in the room with him, of course. I did like this moment, by the way, because we're gonna get to see Emmett and Darnell's relationship evolve again. And I kind of like that because I need them two to latch on to each other because they going through something together. And I would like to see how that's going to be now that, you know, Jada's no longer here. So basically Darnell tells Emmett, you know, things are hard with children, especially, you know, right now once they start getting a teenager age and you ain't been in their life like that. And then Darnell has this very introspective moment with Emmett. It was just like, I wasn't around to teach you and you follow in my same patterns. Bruh, that was so real. Like, I appreciated that. I appreciated that in the writing because it's just like, you know, sometimes when you watch shows, you don't get that much introspection, but the show does that introspection thing very well. Also, just to, you know, bring up the speed, Trig and Rashad still in jail. We do see them at one moment in the same cell together, and Trig is doing push-ups, and Rashad is talking to him. And basically, you know, Trig is mad that he showed up for Rashad. I don't think Rashad would have ever intentionally gotten Trig in trouble because they homeboys and they like thick as thieves. But at the same time, it's just like, Rashad, you should have known better. And then Trig is blaming himself because he knows that he should have known better. But you know, they did what they did, and so now they trying to fight to get out. Here we go saying last season, oh, Trig and Rashad good, cause they got the hospital footage. They both got alibi. Well, Rashad's girlfriend has sent statement to the police saying that she don't want nothing to do with it. She ain't giving no alibi. And then even though Tiff gave Trig an alibi saying that he was there with them, both of their lawyers say there is no hospital footage to prove that Trig was at the hospital. So I'm just like, what you mean it ain't no hospital footage? The cameras is always rolling. So what you mean they ain't catch Trig on the cameras? So to me, why I found it sus that Nora don't want to give Rashad an alibi. So I'm like, did somebody come to her and threaten her not to give an alibi? Because y'all know last time we saw her, she had a sister, or we was trying to figure out who her sister was. We still don't know right now. But the lawyer that Rashad had did meet with the lady at a restaurant who is, I think, cool with Nora, and she buys candles from her. So she trying to set up this whole interaction so she can figure out why she ain't trying to give Rashad an alibi. We see Reg is always, let me tell y'all something. I probably said it well, yeah, I probably said it a lot last season. I don't like Reg. I do not like Reg. I'm so over Reg. Golly, he make the viewing experience hard sometimes. I mean, the character who played Reg is doing an absolute great job. But my God, on today, I was just like, Jake, just punch that man in the face, bro. Just punch him, bro. You ain't little no more. But yeah, like, Jake ain't been staying at the house. As we know, that house has been there from the beginning. We met Jake and Reg at that house. But that's now Trig house. Trig done had the house remodeled. It's a nice space. It won't in the best neighborhood, but it's a nice space. You know, people know not to come to Trig though with that, because Trig, that's still Trig at the end of the day. Don't get it twisted, you know what I mean? Like, people just ain't running up on him and stuff like that. So, Reg and Jackie was still staying with Candace. But now, since Reg was, you know, having pills delivered to the house, you know, she was like, we're not doing that. So Reg was like, out of all the things I've been doing here at this house, you gonna limit it at moving pills? She was like, I don't want that in here. Ooh, excuse me. So Reg goes to the jail to talk to Trig and say, I need to stay at the house. My girl kicked me out. Trig tells Reg no multiple times. And it's just a bumper of heads. It's like watching two of them mountain goats with them big horns just going like this on screen. Like, first of all, Trig said he got enough on his plate. He don't need Reg up there stressing him out. He don't need Reg up there stressing him out. He tell Reg no. Reg said, that's my house. He said, ain't your house no more. You ain't welcome there. Reg said, whatever. Y'all know what that mean. Reg finna go to the house. In typical Reg fashion, we see in the next view, Reg is having a whole house party. But before all that take place, after Reg come see Trig get on the phone and call Jake and tell Jake, hey, you at the house? Jake so happened to be at the house. Go in my room, go in the closet, go under the floorboard. Reg say he trying to be at the house. Don't let him come to the house. Jake come back to the house to check on the house. Reg got a whole party in there, and it's just a whole full circle homage moment into the beginning of the Shy when Reg used to have them parties and he used to have that pool, and he used to be in the pool with all them girls. And so this time, Jake comes in the house and was like, I ain't scared no more. He pulled a gun out on Reg, and two people come out of two sides with a gun. They pointed at Jake. And then that's when the episode ends. And I'm just like, it's like the older brother beefing with the middle brother, the middle brother beefing with the young brother. And Jake said he ain't talked to Reg since he got him kicked out of that apartment. Probably from when Reg shot Emmett. And that's the apartment that Kevin gave him at that. So yeah. So then y'all, we see, before I get to Bakari and Vinay, let me talk about Nug. So y'all, we've been introduced to a new person named Rafi. And I'm just gonna tell you right now, I don't trust Rafi. And seeing as though Nug gotta go, they building all these people to be mad at Nug the same way they was building all these different people to be mad at Duda, to take Duda out. And you had all these people who want Duda head. It's going to be most of the people that's going to want Nug head. Essentially, it's going to be built up that Bakari going to be wanting to go after Nug. They already got the new dude, Rafi, trying to go after Nug. Then Reg don't like Nug. And now because Nug just did what he did to Pastor Zeke, that's going to give Pop a motive to try to go after Nug. And then Tiff, because eventually Tiff is going to find out what Nug did to Rob. So she going to want to go after Nug. So it's going to be, and then Emmett don't trust Nug. And that's another thing. Emmett don't trust Nug. And he even said something to Keisha about it. Because I think Keisha thought that Emmett was saying something to her along the lines of like, of like being jealous or something like that. And I don't think Emmett even meant it like that. And then it's the way Keisha was like, but that's your ex-wife. And so then Keisha kind of made it like, oh, but at least she did get a ring. Like she want one. And I'm just like, okay, this is going to be a whole messy subject. But anyway, we'll get there. Nug. So I'm assuming now, since this whole thing, because, it was kind of like a love triangle between Nug, Trig, and Tiff. Because Tiff was dating both of them or entertaining both of them at the same time. And so now that Trig is not in the picture right now, which essentially I think Tiff going to end up going back to Trig once Trig get out. Because eventually Trig is going to get out. And look, we only got 9 episodes left. So we ain't got that much time. They can't be locked up too much longer. So right now, Tiff is with Nug. And Nug is at the house. And Tiff got this portrait painted of Alicia, Rob Daddy, and Rob. And she hung it up. And she's asking Nuck how he feel about it. And Nuck is dang near shaking in his skin because he can't give her a comfortable answer about how he feel about it. He just tell her, I don't think none of them would be happy that I'm here with you right now. Look, are you serious? Look, are you serious right now? Diabolical. Just diabolical. And I'm just like, you in here. Y'all, I'm telling y'all right now, if Tiff get pregnant by Nuck, I'm going to be upset. Because what in the All-American Vortex is going on between Tiff, Nuck, Keisha, and Emmett? It's like a floating rectangle right now. Tiff, first of all, I just want to say this little thing right here because I was thinking about this. While I was watching the show. When we first met Keisha and Emmett many years ago, Keisha and Emmett was friends. Tiff was not in the picture like that. So to us, when we first met Keisha and Emmett, Tiff and Keisha was not friends. So when Emmett and Tiff was over with, and Emmett started entertaining Tiff, I can see Keisha like being friendly with Tiff, but being her friend, I don't know where that whole thing came from. Because to me, they was never friends. Like, they only became cool when Tiff and Emmett was married, but that's because they was friends and they was married. But that don't mean that they was, like, to me, like, good Judies, like girlfriends. So now, did Keisha, okay, so Tiff got a kid by Emmett. Keisha got a kid by Nuck. I can see Keisha having a kid by Emmett, but just off of Keisha already having a kid by Nuck, Tiffany should not, to me, that's weird. Do y'all get what I'm saying? Like, to me, that's weird. I don't think Tiff should be even entertaining Nuck like that for real. Because that's weird. Because it's just like y'all swap, like, it's just too much. It's what an All-American Vortex, like I say, is going on. Like, anyway. All the people in Chicago, y'all can't date nobody else, have babies with nobody else. Anyway, like Alicia said, that's some ghetto ratchet mess. But anywho, back to what I was saying. So Nuck is at the house with Tiff, right? Y'all know Tiff got the house, Tiff running the businesses. Nuck is there, Nuck is at the house, Nuck is at the businesses or whatever like that. Y'all know Tiffany is pushing this very high level strand of flowers for people to purchase. And and so it's just like, I don't know if Tiff feels like she's protected because Nuck is around and she don't have nobody, and then she going through a lot. She grieving Rob, she grieving Alicia, she grieving Jada. You know, it's a whole lot going on. So it's just like, okay. So then we see Tiff and Nuck again at the I forgot what the little place is called, but y'all know that place that Bianca and Alicia own together, that little spot where it's supposed to be like upper echelon. So Nuck and his crew is having a meeting there, and Lene is working at the little establishment as well. And so Lene is giving side eyes to Nuck because, as y'all know, Lene hates Nuck, rightfully so. Okay? And so it's this dude who we don't know, but come to find out his name is Rafi. He basically is just like, why we got mixed company in here? And then Bakari was like, that's not mixed company, that's my girl, she cool. And so Tiffany backs what he's saying, and then Nuck backs what Bakari said. And so then, I guess whatever they was talking about was done. And so Nuck gets up and they go into like the storage locker thing, or the whatever kind of room it is. And Bakari basically is asking Nuck questions. And so he asking them about Pastor Zeke. And so then, you know, it's just a blurred line because Bakari is working with Nuck, but Bakari is best friends with Papa. And Papa has taken good care of Bakari. So, like, for this to be the second person that he done lost that was like a father figure to him, or that was, father-ish to him, it's because of Nuck. And so now that's going to make Bakari look shiesty in Papa eyes to me. And then, kind of find out, Papa is staying with Bakari and Lene at the house. Which, sidebar, I thought Lene was getting her own place. But come to find out, Dom and, dang, I forgot Lene brother's name. Lene brother, they moved out the house. So we don't even know if they even still married or not. But that's neither here nor there. So now, it's giving Jake been staying there off and on because he don't want to be alone at the house because Trig ain't there. And then Papa is staying there, at the house with him. So anyway, so Rafi, to me, it's just like, let me get my thought together. Okay, so Bakari goes and tells Nuck, or asks Nuck questions about Pastor Zeke. Nuck ends up telling Bakari that Pastor Zeke was talking too much. Basically, some FBI agents came and started questioning Pastor Zeke. And because Pastor Zeke knew all of Nuck's secrets, Nuck said it was too much of a gamble. He thought Pastor Zeke was going to turn on him. So he off Pastor Zeke. Okay. So then he tells Bakari this. Excuse me. He tells Bakari this. And so Bakari was like, bro, that's crazy because that was like Papa's second dad. And, Papa's heard about it. And then, so he's telling him all this and that. And so then Rafi comes in and was just like, I don't know why you even trust him because he talking too much. And then Rafi calls Bakari out and was like, why is Lene side-eyeing Nuck? And then Bakari tells him that he don't know. So Bakari ups the strap on Rafi because Rafi basically tells Nuck that he need to be his number 2 instead of Bakari because Bakari is out there running his mouth and he can't trust Bakari. That was foreshadowing because he felt like Bakari gonna turn, which essentially I think Bakari is gonna end up turning on Nuck just to be saying it. But then it's not like Rafi wasn't right because Rafi's all the way right. But it's just the fact that Nuck shut all of it down. Was like, Bakari is my number 2. And if you don't like it, you can go find somewhere else to work. So to me, that was very reminiscent of that whole moment with Zay. Because Zay wanted the same thing. Zay was getting mad because Bakari was number 2. And he thought that he was a better number 2 than Bakari. He wanted to be number 2. And so basically, Nuck told him the same thing. Unbeknownst to Nuck, Nuck did eventually find out. But Zay had started trying to, work with Alicia. Or he started making deals with Alicia. Or he started having conversations with Alicia or whatever. And so then that's what ended up making, that's why Nuck ended up throwing Zay under the bus. And Zay ended up, perishing. Or in the words of our good sis on TikTok, getting Amazon Prime to the Lord. So I just thought that was very reminiscent. So then Rafi leaves, and guess where Rafi goes? He go and sit down with Reg. Nuck's number 1 nemesis. We don't even know where Rafi even came from. But anyway, so then he goes to sit down with Reg, and Reg asks him, well, why should I trust you if you was this loyal to Nuck? Why would I think you would be loyal to me? And so Rafi basically tells him that y'all work completely different. Y'all systems is completely different. And I know that you move different than him and I don't have to worry about you. So what Reg do? Hire him. Of course Rafi gonna tell Reg all the intel on what's going on with, So one of 2 things. The crazy part is when that conversation happened with Rafi, Nuck, and Bakari, when Bakari upped the strap on Rafi, Rafi said, I ain't scared and I ain't Ronnie. First of all, sir, don't be disrespectful. Ronnie didn't do nothing to you. Okay? Second of all, he told him that he want Ronnie. And he said that he pew-pews back So that might be a thing. Cause y'all know it's finna be a mess. It's gonna be good TV, but it's gonna be a mess. Because I feel like they paths gonna cross again. Bakari has his book signing. Nobody shows up. He only showed a couple of books. But throughout a couple times in the episode, Bakari and Lene are getting into it. Lene really cares for Bakari, and she really don't want him in the street life. And so it's really putting pressure on Bakari, but to me it's needed pressure because she really wants him to wake up and change his life. But because of the fast money that he's making, he putting his trust in all these people that he can't trust. And child, with everything I've been hearing and looking and seeing on the news about people in the street, she ain't lying. It's only two ways. It's only two pathways. But, you know, I guess people in that lifestyle just grow to accept it. And one thing that stuck out to me that was powerful was when Bakari went to go visit Rashad and he gave Rashad a copy of his book. And, you know, Rashad has always kind of, you know, kept Bakari straight or been that father figure for Bakari, you know. And so he basically asked Bakari whether he wanted to live or die. And Bakari said he didn't know. And I was just like, oh, come on, Shy. Y'all had one stipulation by me. Bakari has to live. I don't know what I would do if Bakari perishes. Or in the words of my good sis on TikTok, he Amazon Prime to the Lord. I don't know what I would do. Like, oh my God. But yeah, so it's just crazy because like Bakari and Lene been just getting into it. They've been into it. And she just was like, I just want better for you. And she was just like, even with him promoting the book, he didn't really do much to promote the book. He just thought people was going to show up. And he said he wanted to do things the independent route, and that's cool and everything. But, you know, she was like, it's hard work. It's just not going to fall in your lap. Having a dream is not linear. You know, you got to do things to attain a dream. And, you know, that just spoke volumes because, you know, I just got some things that I'm thinking about and I want to do. And, you know, I'm trying to figure it out. But sometimes you just feel like, why can't it just happen now? But, you know, it's planning and work and strategy and everything to get certain things done. And so I know that Lene is in a difficult place. But in one of them arguments she was having with Bakari, she said something to Bakari, and Bakari is yelling. And then he just like word vomits that Nuck killed Pastor Zeke. And Lene is like taken aback because this time she ain't have to pull whatever out of him. He just told her. And so I'm just like, oh, Bakari is cracking. Bakari is cracking. And then she was just like, how can you sit around and know that, knowing that was Papa's second father figure? And he was just like, I know. And then she just was like, I hate Nuck, or something like that. And so it's just, I don't know. Lene might put Bakari out. She might put him out. Because now I'm starting to, and she don't want none of that at her front though. Rightfully so. I wouldn't either. It's too much going on. And then, oh, one thing I forgot to mention, because you know, like I said earlier, Papa is staying with them at the house. Papa goes down to the little bar and he sees Nuck and Tiff like flirting or whatever. And Tiff notices that Papa's over there and that she you know, she noticed that Papa's over there and he looks a little sad. So she walks over there to check on Papa. And Papa, you know, she tells Papa, you know, I'm sorry for the loss of your friend and everything like that. And she asks, is he good? And he tell her no. But she was like, if you need anything, just let me know. And then he was just like, do you trust Nuck? I was like, yes, Papa, wake it up. Wake her up. Cause she's somewhere else. She sleeping with the enemy. Papa was like, do you trust Nuck? And then she thought about it. She took a while. And Papa was like, well, what took you so long? She ain't had no answer. She was like, why? Papa was like, well, I heard from a reliable source that Nuck killed Pastor Zeke. She was like, who told you that? He was like, I can't really tell you that. And then she was just like, I don't... Oh, that's when he asked her after that. He was like, well, do you trust him or whatever? And she was like, yeah. And then she basically told Papa to go home. But she looked not hurt, but she looked like stunned to hear that Nuck did that. And I'm just like, Tiff, why? You can't be that removed from the group, Tiff, you don't know what's going on. Like, you knew he was working for Duda. And you know what Duda was doing to Emmett and all that stuff. So you know what's going on. And she possibly, I wonder if she know that he took Duda out. I don't know. I can't remember. I might have to go back and watch some of the episodes. But, I was just, yeah. Wake it up, Papa. Wake her up. You can't trust that man. You got that man all up into your house. He know everything you got. He all up in your business. You weren't even dealing with him that closely when you was with Rod. Like, you didn't even see him like that around. You was just, now he know your ins and outs. And he trying to soften butter you up so you won't take him out. Even though he done took out your son's whole family. And you around him just giving him your body, giving him your time, giving him your money. Yeah, wake up, Papa. Because sis is asleep. She missing all the red flags. And, you know, I feel like eventually when Trig do get out, she probably going to say something to Trig about it. Because I don't think that's going to be the end of Tiff and Trig for real. But yeah, y'all, I think that's all I got for the Shy. I think I talked about everything that was like crazy to me. I'm ready for episode 2. I hate that I gotta wait a week, bro. Because I'm going to be sitting here thinking about that and looking at all kind of teasers and everything. And now that the first episode that came out. Yeah, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. What was shocking to you? I feel like a lot of stuff. Oh, and before I go, I forgot to mention this one part. I was wondering where Damien was at, because Damien wasn't at the house. And, you know, last time we saw Damien, he had got into a little bit of trouble with Reg, and he was dating Zuri. Well, now all of a sudden, Charles has got this barbershop, and Zuri was at the shop talking to Charles, and it looked like they've been courting each other. And come to find out, Zuri and Damien broke up, and Damien went back to rehab. So, I'm interested to see where that's going to go. Because y'all know I didn't care for Charles. I don't feel like I could trust him either. So, yeah, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll be back next week with episode 2. Deuces.